I don't know how this is going to turn out.
It'd be a weird angle.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So we've had issues with this fire alarm. It was going off all the time, basically, if you looked at it wrong. So I pulled the battery out of it, and it still goes off. So it's getting quite annoying.
We'll have to get one that's less sensitive. Well, how's that working then? How's that going off? I thought it might be wired in.
I don't know.
It's our ghost.
It's a no battery. It's not wired to anything.
Well, now I want to know how it was going off. I figured it was wired in or something.
Is there something else in here that could be beeping?
No, it was that. Because I pushed that button and it quits.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I said, it's the ghost. I mean, we got nothing else that would beep in here. The refrigerator is not on.
I don't know, Shanna.
I mean, unless like our electrical box is beeping. Does that beep?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is take it out for now and go get another one that's a little less sensitive.
So we'll do that for now. So we'll take this out, and if we still have beeping, I'll investigate further. So I took this apart a week or two ago to see how some stuff was wired in there and how they did some other stuff with the ceiling. And now it intermittently doesn't work. So I'm assuming I just got a connection that's pinched or something. So I've got to pull it back down now to see what I screwed up the first time. Like I said, half this channel is just me figuring out how to do something simple or screwing something simple up.
You do something and then you have to do it again because something else is messed up.
If you did it right the first time, why would you have any fun?
I don't know. Yeah, because one day it didn't work. The next day it did for like half the time, and then it turned off on itself again.
Man, you can tell it's going to storm.
Uh-huh.
Cool
It's
air
getting
just rushed
cooling.
in.
Yeah, it's getting cooler in here.
Okay. And yes, I did check the fuse the other day. Fuse is fine.
Well, I mean, are we going to use it before you decide to put what we're going to do to it?
Well, we're going to travel for a week or two between there. We're going to want air movement in here. Hold on, give me a second. Never give up. Never surrender.
You're even going to shock yourself.
Yeah, it's low voltage.
Well, you know, they probably put the cheapest fan ever in it. Might be that whole...
Well, I was moving that board around and it kind of...
Yeah, it might be that whole board that's just done.
Well, it looks like I just need to take some Allens and take that switch off. Ew. That's where I pushed on this and it started to turn a minute ago for a second.
Unless you just hit it.
Yeah, we'll see here. Catch my finger in a second. Oh, my arms are getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could get my meter out.
Taking the whole thing off again?
Yep.
Should you disconnect the...
What?
Should you just take the thing out?
Then how would I know if I'm getting a loose wire?
I don't know.
I need power to it. Those connections don't seem good.
I wonder if the switch just completely went out.
Yeah, I don't know.
because when it came back on and then it hasn't came back on since then.
Let me see something down here. Get between your legs. Okay, just checking out the fuse box. I'm going to push on the fuse and Shanna can show you what happens up here at the fan.
Yep, so it's the fuse.
Yeah, so there's a loose connection at the fuse panel.
So could the panel be beeping and not the fire alarm?
Maybe.
Maybe it's warning us that there's something not right.
The good news is I didn't screw up the fan. Bad news is I gotta put it back together now. Okay. So
There's a bunch of wires sticking out.
yeah, I see that.
So now you gotta figure out what's going on.
And now I'm gonna have to disconnect the battery, take the fuse out. Since we don't have a disconnect switch on here, which we probably ought to add. But let me see here.
Oh. It's running now.
Yeah, so this is vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like there, it just came off.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
Well, either it's not holding the fuse tight enough, or there's just a bad solder joint on the back side of that. But once again, I gotta take the power off it, pull that out, check all the solder joints.
So should we go ahead and disconnect the battery just to make sure?
Yeah,
that might be what's beeping and not the fire alarm.
Could be.
The battery's a little bit dirty.
Yeah, they end up that way. If you notice, they definitely went small on these power wires. There we are.
Okay. Lights went out.
Yeah, power just went out. At least we have a generator.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say that is super loose.
What the?
Look at that.
Oh yeah. So maybe we need to get a new one of those.
No, just need to tighten it.
How do you tighten it?
I get my needle nose pliers.
Not moving as much now.
Yeah, do any others move like that?
What about those two big red ones?
Huh?
The
On
two
these?
big. No, the
What?
two big red thingies.
Oh, these?
Those. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine. So yeah, that was just super loose. So it could have been
Bouncing.
losing contact, and beeping.
Yeah. So it might not have been the fire alarm.
You're like, the fire alarm keeps going off.
But the thing is, so if it was that, then that's been months of that doing that.
Yeah, but if it just once in a while didn't beeped, I just never heard. I didn't know what you were talking about when you said the fire alarm was going off. Alright, so I'm gonna go connect the battery back up. So, looks like that top fuse, like if you saw, I mean, I could just barely touch it and it just almost fell out. But yeah, Shanna's told me a few times this fire alarm keeps going off, even though I had the battery pulled. I'm like, well, maybe they hardwired it to a 12-volt source. then it wasn't, which made no sense. But so I'm betting this was loose.
It was
would flicker just enough to beep, but then it would make contact again and things would start running.
So our fire alarm's probably okay to put back.
But the fire alarm did go off before for no like when we cook or anything, it's too sensitive. So we're going to get a better fire alarm before we camp next time.
Yeah.
But hopefully this was a simple fix. Takes care of this. Then we'll go from there. I still want to upgrade these wires.
Yeah.
I definitely want regular, higher gauge connectors.
Did it work? Cool.
Works.
Good. I can't hear it over the generator.
So, alright, that was it. So, until Amazon gets here, we're caught up. So, my Amazon stuff finally got here. So, I'm gonna get some of that installed. Oh, quick update on the beeping noise we heard. It's not the fire alarm, obviously. So the other thing is the battery did die on this thing. So I don't know if it's a battery alarm or if it's a carbon monoxide alarm. But since we can't recreate it and it only does those few beeps and then it quits, we'll have to just keep waiting and seeing. But still got to track that down. In the meantime, I'm going to get these next few upgrades going. They should be pretty quick and easy. The first one is related to the battery since it keeps draining. Part of that is because of the radio in here. It does not have an on-off. And the camper does not have a disconnect switch outside, so it's just constantly draining the battery. I am going to add a disconnect switch, but in the meantime I'm going to put a shut-off on this radio anyway, because at night the light just shines right in your eye. So I'm going to get that going first. See, radio's right here above the fridge. I'm just going to add another switch on the side over here by the rest of them. Switch is added. So we got it right over here now. And boom. So, first task is done. Now onto the Amazon stuff. Alright, item number 2 of the day. So, when I was looking at the radio here to get a switch put in, I didn't put the screws back in, I just set it in place and meant to lock it down. Didn't, so when we were towing here, it came loose, rattled across, messed up the fridge. Now Shannon's mad at me. But got that back in, and now I got to work on the fridge for another reason. If you watched our last camping video, you saw when we got to the campground, all the food was on the floor. It popped open in shipment. So I ordered some latches. I'm going to put those on real quick so we can make sure that next time it all stays where it's supposed to be. See, just little baby latches. Alright, and that one's done. So now we just unlatch that, pop that, and we're open. Boom. Alright, now to work on the part of the camper I dislike the most, the wet bath. Not a fan of wet baths. Everything else on the camper we like, and the wet bath's fine for Shanna, but she's short. I'm by no means tall, it's still tight. But first upgrade is going to be shower head here. Got a cheap Amazon one, but at least we'll be able to move it around a little bit better. And this one has the on-off switch, so we can get the temperature set, then turn it off. Soap, do whatever you need to do, turn it back on, rinse, repeat. So that'll help save water since we do have smaller tanks. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out real quick, and I might relocate where it's actually mounted at too, depending how much room I have here, because part of the problem with this is the shower goes down toward the toilet. It'd almost be better if it was on this other side, going to the open section. But I'll get this installed and see what kind of room I have. Unfortunately, we don't have water hookup, so even tightening these, first time we do it at the campground, I have to make sure there's no leaks. Then we'll have to adjust on the fly. step in?
Yes. The shoes and all.
This whole thing needs cleaned.
Okay.
So, current. I mean, do you want me to put it up like at an angle like this on this side? Then this has a little tilt to it. So you can move that.
Okay.
I mean, you for it up here like this so it aims to the back.
I thought we talked about that.
We did talk about that, but let's...
I know you talked about that.
So, hold it where you think you'd want it to be and see if it makes sense to stretch across like that.
Like, weren't we talking about like there or something?
We talked about it. I just don't know, would that be awkward having it... Would that work better for you?
I mean, what about just stretching out? That's the problem. Does that look awkward going across there?
It looks awkward. And then when you're sitting, you're going to have that unless we keep this here so you can move it. Because the other one would hold it too.
Yeah, you could move.
So you could have it hang there temporarily.
And then
have it up here for the other. Just how high do we go as high as we can?
I'd say go as high as you can, because then maybe that'll help you if you need to take a shower.
Okay. Oh, I need to take a shower.
Well, right now you do, yes.
Okay, so about right there, you think?
I would think so.
So 1, 2, 3, fourth one down.
Kind of in the middle.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna want it a little bit off the edge. Because then you got to rotate it in. Granted, their water to come out, so you'd want to be back here. Does that work?
Yeah, and then if I want to do it the other direction, we still have that one.
Yep. Okay, I'll put this up. Set the fourth one down. Just a little bit in here. So, new shower head. And I gotta let the adhesives dry and set up on that, but then we can mount here or there. Now, where do we mount the next thing?
What's the next thing? The toilet holder?
Toilet paper holder.
I don't know.
More wet bath issues. Toilet paper's a problem in there, so we got a little waterproof toilet paper thing, kind of like the vans all use. Alright, so got this installed. This thing's pretty janky. Not thrilled with the way they mount. It doesn't really tighten up well, so it's kind of loose on there. But if it keeps the water off, that's its job. And if it doesn't last long, we'll get a better one. I mean, it's cheap Amazon crap, so you get what you get. But that'll be it for this one. So that's all the stuff we have to put in before our trip. Like I said earlier, when we get to Indy, we got a lot more stuff. Well, not a lot more, but larger projects to do. So we'll cover those when we get up to Indy.
Yeah, those are a lot bigger projects.
Yes. So in the meantime, we'll wrap this one up, and this Friday we hit the road for about an 8-day camping trip. So there will be more to come. We'll see you on the next one, guys.